Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Steven Spielberg's The Sugarland Express from 1974. So yes, we're back once again to review a Spielberg film, and this time the first theatrical feature film from him. So yes, very exciting of course to go through all of these films on the channel. I started this kind of, I guess, the first kind of year of my channel, but just gradually going through his films and giving them reviews. And this time we'll have a very brief one, I must say that, although there is a spoiler warning for this discussion, of course. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first and then coming back to this discussion, this review, of this film. And yeah, I don't have too much to say about this. So yes, with all that said, let's kind of just dive into a very, very brief, kind of just gathering of my thoughts and just feelings, opinions on this film and my experience with seeing this. So yes, just again very brief compared to my usual stuff. But yes, this film is based on the 1969 kind of event that happened, and yes, in Texas, of course, and yes, 1969 May. This was kind of based on, and obviously it does take place then as well. But yes, basically, Goldie Hawn plays Eugene, and of course William Atherton playing Clovis, and she essentially, the first kind of 20 minutes or so is her breaking out Clovis of prison, and yes, trying to kind of do this stealthily, but of course things happen, and straight after that kind of first 20 minutes really, the rest of the kind of patrolmen around the area kind of start to chase this couple, and yes, it's all kind of trying to get their kid back, and this kind of strange event that happened, and yes, basically, these patrolmen, the police, kind of start building up, and eventually this massive kind of chase across Texas kind of unfolds, and of course, members of the public as well, kind of idolizing, you could say, this couple, and interactions, of course, throughout with the public, and these kind of parades, you could say, and all this kind of massive stuff going on with this very lengthy, chase kind of unfolding across the film, and in the end, of course, this being a spoilers review, yes, Eugene is captured, and Clovis, does die as well. He gets killed, and kind of shot down, and it's kind of very tragic. You could say this film attempts to kind of bring this humanity and this kind of strange kind of I guess fantasy feeling to this film, and because I guess the minds of these two, especially Eugene, is this kind of strange feeling, and her kind of unhinged personality, it kind of captures that, I guess, and it is this kind of fantastical, kind of surreal film. Although yes, mainly a chase film, you could say, like Jewel, but very, very different, and I guess. For me, I was personally underwhelmed quite a bit with this film. Jewel was the true, for me, great kind of debut film from Spielberg, and I think there are many similarities, of course, with this film here, the Sugarland Express, but I think it really does pale in comparison to Jewel, and I just think it kind of as well sits, in this kind of, I guess, it's very much basically it stands out, as a Spielberg film. Doesn't really like his other, kind of films, and just it doesn't really have that kind of wowing factor that most of his films have, in some way. And I think it really doesn't really feel like a Spielberg film, in his style too much. There are some moments, of course, and shots throughout, and of course John Williams does score this film. So the very, very first collaboration, between these two, and that is great to see, and just I love this collaboration. My personal favourite, in cinema history, between a composer and a filmmaker, and just I really like the score. It doesn't really, again though, it doesn't really blow me away. It's not one that I would listen to over and over, like many of his other scores. But I think it does serve the story well, and just it has this kind of I guess, kind of frantic feeling at times. Yes, this film, starts off, I must say, quite strong. I really, at times, liked the kind of first 20 minutes. It was very tense, and I think, once they captured, of course, the cop, it's very, very interesting as well. And I think the dynamic, of course, that was kind of established at first between these two and of course the policeman. It was very interesting, and I was looking forward to seeing where it would go over the course of the film. But I think, despite the kind of first 20 minutes being quite tense and I guess varied between locations and just this initial I think motivation that's set up between these characters being very engaging actually, and quite human, and just very much something that was established very clearly. It was very well done by Spielberg, and I think the acting was very expressive at times, and I was definitely into this film at first. Quite a bit. It's a very strong, I guess, opening, and despite that, it wasn't dual. It wasn't, it's a great film at first, but it was definitely solid, very much so, and I was interested in this film and seeing where it would go. After that, just kind of builds and builds, to the point where it doesn't kind of raise the tension. It just kind of feels drawn out for me, and I just found myself very much more and more, till I guess the ending of the film, kind of disinterested, and I think the tone at times is kind of off. I think at times it feels, kind of very abrupt tonal shifts. I think at times it's just kind of irritating a bit for me, just for my liking. Kind of the moments in the film that happen, and these kind of outbursts, you could say, and I think the film, there are some kind of highlights, you could say, the kind of shootout, in the kind of parking lot, kind of, I guess it was in the middle of the film, that was kind of quite interesting, and it shook things up a little bit, and I think there are some attempts I do admire, throughout, to kind of humanise the characters, and just bring this kind of, exposition to these characters throughout, and I think, the relationship between them and the policeman, is definitely, I think commendable, and I did like the character, policeman that was kind of captured, taken hostage, and I think, yes, just the sheriff as well, is very, I think, a solid performance, and decent character as well, but throughout the film, it just kind of keeps going, and I found there was a lot of focusing, on the actual cars and the massive kind of scope of the chase itself, and that's fine. But I think this film does not, in the sense, Joel really was so focused on the character, and really intense and involving, in the car, and there is some moments in this we get some shots, in the car and stuff, and seeing from that perspective, and the actual characters that are getting kind of pursued. But I think it does lose that focus on many occasions, and I think in the end it just is a bit of a slog for me. Unfortunately, it wasn't a film that I disliked. I wouldn't say, but I think it's not really a film that I kind of really liked at all. In fact, it's very much dead on, kind of average for me, and I didn't find this film that engaging after the kind of first 20 minutes or so, and I found myself, enjoying sometimes the performances, the score, of course, and I guess, the direction at times, the way it was kind of shot was very nice, the scenery, and just the way in which we have different shots, of the cars, but, it was just too much, kind of focusing on the actual scope of this film, and, I guess just, it kind of lost sense of characters at times for me, and just really did not kind of live up to the promise, I guess, the first 20 minutes, and overall this film, it's not a bad film for me, although it is one of my least favourite kind of Spielberg films personally, but I do think it's commendable, and I do praise, of course, Spielberg directing this film. There are some moments where it's really kind of nice to see, visually, and I think, he does set up the story very well, in that sense, but it's not enough to kind of sustain the runtime for me. It really is drawn out. I found myself kind of very disinterested, at times, in the second half, especially, and the ending, it kind of came to a very interesting, kind of thought-provoking ending, the way in which, of course, Clovis, perishes, but, I think, it really doesn't kind of engage me too much, overall as a film, and I think, it's not a bad film. I do think there are some things to take from this visually, and just, I guess, the way in which, kind of the film, yes, it has this atmosphere to it, and just, the kind of practicality of this is definitely to praise. I don't think, though, it's kind of this wowing film that really sustains the tension and the actual drama throughout. It doesn't kind of focus on the characters at times consistently, and I just think it kind of gets, something gets lost along the way, and it is kind of very, very flat, unfortunately, at times for me. But yes, that's just my thoughts, and overall, my final rating for this film is a 60%, a dead-on 60%, and I think, it's kind of a film that is, very close to falling into that kind of mediocre feeling, but, I think it is definitely to praise, at times visually, and I do think, the performances, at times I wasn't a fan of, but, I think overall there are some solid moments in this film, and I do think Goldie Hawn, is to praise. She was going for something very, very, I guess, bold, and it starts off very interesting. But I found myself, kind of abruptly shocked, by different moments in the film. The kind of tonal shifts and these sudden outbursts, particularly by Louise, didn't quite work for me cinematically, and it just kind of took me out of the experience. And I think William Atherton, is definitely solid in this film, although his character is kind of bland at times, and I wasn't really, again, too engaged by that character. Of course, you can kind of see the motivations very clearly, trying to get their kid back, but it just kind of comes to this conclusion where it's kind of tragic as well, seeing, of course, Clovis perishing, but the whole kind of idea of this, it comes across as kind of silly in a very kind of strange way, and in that sense it does kind of lessen the actual emotional impact, because this whole kind of chase is just kind of a bit ridiculous, really, and just the tone throughout is very inconsistent. So yes, overall it was a very interesting film to see, just seeing the first kind of collaboration between John Williams and Spielberg, that was great, and just seeing, of course, Jewel recently, and then going on to see this, very, very different though. It's very much this film does sit, in that kind of spot of, I can't really make too much comparisons between this and these other films. Really, just the kind of chase element, is comparable to Jewel, but the rest of the film is completely different to Jewel, and definitely Jewel was the much better film. That was the first kind of. I know that was made for TV originally, but that is the one for me. That was the first kind of true, kind of breakout. This is the one. This is his debut. I'm not going to kind of discount Jewel, as his debut feature, just because it was made for TV, because that film, yes, it was just a great film, and I think truly legendary to see that film, and that was a really remarkable film in my opinion, and you can see that film, the comparisons between his other films as well, and this film here, it kind of isn't really comparable to Jewel and most of his other films, although I did take some things from it. I think Michael Sachs as well, forgot to mention, Slide, the actual policeman that we've mentioned, he was very good, and I think this dynamic between Slide and of course Eugene and Clovis is very interesting, of course, and it keeps the film engaging at times, actually. But yes, a 6% average, very much dead on the average mark. That's, I think, accurate for my kind of investment throughout, and the first 20 minutes very solid, and some different moments throughout that did kind of keep me engaged, and it's very unique, this film, but overall it kind of falls short. It's very, very flat at times, and just very drawn out. It's kind of a struggle at times, to watch this film, because it was really, really just kind of tedious at times, unfortunately, and I think it lost sense of the characters, and it really just went all out, kind of showing the kind of the chase constantly. I knew how many, yes, I knew the patrol cars, were after them, and all the public and stuff, but I didn't constantly kind of see, the massive scope of it, in the sense I really wanted to know more about the characters, see more of the interactions consistently, and I think, these characters, in the first place aren't kind of great ones, in my opinion, but, I think a dynamic established at first, kind of, it fell short, and the promise, of this, kind of, very interesting film. This did quite follow through for me, but yes, overall, a commendable film, and one that I just didn't really kind of I wasn't a big fan of personally, but yes, a commendable effort from Spielberg, and once again, always defend this genius, the master of blockbusters. But yes, that's my thoughts. What do you think of this film? It's certainly a film that's commendable in my opinion, and yes, from of course, one of my absolute favourite directors, filmmakers, of course, Steven Spielberg. So yes, that's my thoughts. It'd be great to hear yours, and different thoughts on different Spielberg films. It would be great to hear in the comments. And yes, that's it. We'll wrap up. As always, take care, and thanks for watching.